Welcome back, everybody, to another Brewz Roundtable podcast. Oh, best sound in the world.
I already cracked mine.
Here, I'll do mine too. Here. I don't know. Whatever. But we're all right, guys. I'll start off by saying that y'all need to get off of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever you're listening to this on, and go to YouTube. Go to Brewz, the review YouTube, and watch this unfold in video form. It'll be a lot more enjoyable or disturbing, depending on how you look at it.
Depends on who your guest is.
Yeah, exactly. But welcome back, everybody. Today, if you couldn't tell already by their beautiful voices, we got Sam Clapp himself and Cory Reynolds. We kind of did a podcast a while ago, but I lost the audio, and people probably didn't want to hear that anyway.
It's probably for the best.
But we're back. We don't really have a theme. We're just we got a couple topics that we just talked about, and we're gonna go from there. But first, as always, let's talk about what everybody's drinking. Sam, start us off.
Well, I got Lord Hobo Hop Evolution, which is a limited time deal, actually.
Okay.
This is kind of a new one. It's a double IPA. It's an 8-pointer. And it's pretty juicy, to be honest, but it's actually, it doesn't even taste like a double. But I mean, you can't drink too much of these, otherwise you're gonna end up like Hitler's dog and trying to sniff your way through Germany. Like, where am I?
What time is it? What does that mean?
We're like 3 minutes in, and
how many have you had, Sam?
You just saw me cracking.
Oh my gosh! All right.
Listen,
Okay.
This is a bad cast, okay?
you want to just start over now?
Got Chairman in Chief Cory Rhino Reynolds and Cardinal Cal Fody. All right, let's get this show on the road.
Oh boy. Oh. All right.
I'd just like to point out that Cory does not do my show because he's a loser.
Oh man, that you know that's between you two. I don't get involved in.
You better believe it.
Oh boy. All right, Cory, what do you got?
I have what is this? It's just a New England IPA from Progression Brewing Company out of Northampton, and it is I don't know anything about it. It's a
How's it taste?
It's delicious. I already cracked it and I drank half of it already because I can't wait. I'm terrible at describing beer, but it's good.
Like a paper tiger.
It does the job.
Like, what is it? What are you tasting? Like some citrus, like other things besides hop character?
Yeah, it's just different. It's very different. What it describes it as a hazy with tastes of Pinot Gris, red currant, raspberries, and tropical fruit. And I'd say I'm tasting all of that.
That sounds like a trick-or-treat nonsense beer.
Oh boy.
No, it's good. Now that I really think about it, I can taste some of those things. I just drink things and like, oh, that's good. Yeah, okay. I'm really bad at describing what I'm tasting.
That's how you have to do it, really. There's so many flavors.
It's not like a typical New England flavor, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know what you like, and that's what counts.
It has like a dryness to it. I don't know.
Okay.
It doesn't have like that super soft mouthfeel that you'd expect from a New England. It's
gotcha.
Different, but it's super good. Okay. I'm gonna have to get another one.
My can has a bunch of math problems on it.
That is the wrong can for Sam.
I was gonna say.
Do they think that people are like doing math while they're trying to figure out?
They probably shouldn't sell that in New Hampshire. I'm just saying. Yeah, I know. They're not from New Hampshire.
It says bursting with bright. What the heck is it? Citrus and juicy tropical fruit flavors.
Citrus is a difficult word.
From the perfect balance
Citrus.
of citra. Huh.
Citra is a hop.
No, I realize that. It's in cursive, so it's kind of hard to read.
Gotcha. Okay. But you're liking that one, Sam?
Oh, it's very tasty. I actually, honestly, I feel like it could be dangerous because you could really take it down.
Yeah. You're a big Hobo fan, right? Or Lord Hobo?
I love Hobo, yeah. The only one I didn't like was this. I actually recently just tried one of their dark beers.
Oh, okay.
One of their dark IPAs. It was
Oh, yeah. The black
one?
IPA. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
the black IPA.
You
Yeah,
brought that over to my house a couple months ago, didn't you?
It wasn't good. It didn't taste good.
I feel like I drank it and I don't remember anything about it though.
It's just, you know what it is?
It wasn't my style, so
a lot of those like black IPAs, they have sort of a coffee-esque sort of aftertaste, and I'm not a fan of that. It's like if anything with citrus, I'm interested in, but something like that, it's like okay, I can do without that.
Yeah, I'm not into like big, heavy like dessert beers stuff.
Yeah,
like
those are.
Like, you're gonna drink coffee. Drink coffee. Don't drink beer and then mix it with coffee. It just defeats the purpose. It's like if you want to have a drink and then go to bed, go to bed. Don't have it's not a nightcap if you want to light yourself on fire after it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense.
Do you just not like dessert beers in general, or not dessert beer, like dark beers?
No, I like them, but I think they serve its purpose when it comes to like, you know, if you're going to do a citrus, have it be full citrus. Don't try to combine all this other stuff with it. And if you do, make it subtle. Don't make it so overpowering that it's going to taste completely different by the end of the time.
But if everybody does that, then everybody's beer will taste the same.
That's
you
true.
gotta do something different.
There's a good mix. The craft beer community is in a weird place now because you've got 5 million breweries doing the same New England IPAs, and everybody thinks one is better than the other.
Right.
But then you have those people that are doing the ridiculous flavors, and some people like them and some people hate them. Like there's a company, Decadent Ales. I have one of their cans actually right now. And they do only dessert beers. Some of them are fantastic. Like this is a double blueberry pancake IPA, and it tastes like liquid blueberry pancakes, which I don't know if that sounds appealing, but it's
really.
it is fantastic.
Am I sucking air through a straw at the hospital?
It is fantastic.
You're on your last leg, Mr. Clapp, but here's a little something for you.
Oh man, it is fantastic though. But some of the stuff it is no good. But some of their beers were really good. But
I'm not gonna say it's a bad thing. If you like it, it's great, you know. But it's just not my style. I'm not gonna say they shouldn't be experimenting and trying those types of things because somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like, you know, in the comedian world, there are certain people that like Seinfeld, for example. There are certain people that like his type of dry humor, and there are certain people that are like, I don't care if I'm putting my keys in my shoes at the beach. It doesn't appeal to me. But it's like some people love that kind of humor.
Was that a quote? Because that didn't make any sense. I don't know.
No, it's one of his jokes.
Is it one of his jokes? All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was a Sam thing.
I don't mind Jerry Seinfeld. I just don't know a lot of his.
Yeah.
I like the show.
The show has a lot of good moments for sure. But yeah. Anyways, I'm drinking Chatham Brewing. I reviewed their cans recently. It's the red lager. It's just a really good crisp lager. There's not much to say. It's fresh. It's got a nice
from New York, Cal? Is that the one?
Yeah, they're about like 30 minutes from me, maybe a little under. They're in the middle of nowhere. I did the YouTube video on them recently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
nice.
But they're not bad. They're like, I'd say their IPAs were okay, but their lager and their pilsner was fantastic. But yeah. Anyways, so we're drinking our beers here. I almost I don't know why.
Finished mine.
I'm in like because last episode that I released was Lost in Transit, and I'm like ready to play a song, but I'm like it's not that kind of podcast today.
Well, what are you guys listening to right now? Like, what's your
Like,
go-to?
Oh, let me see.
As far as music,
I could start if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. You know what? How
yeah, go
about
play them.
tell me what your favorite release was from this past year. Like if a band came out with an album
Well,
that last in 2020,
I
because
mean,
I've got one.
I'm a big fan of hip hop, as you know, but I
Yeah.
mean I also love my punk and everything, but and I don't know when this one came out. It came out in 2020. Like my favorite EP right now actually is the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus.
Really?
They just came out with the Emergency EP, and every single song is a banger. It's so good. Like it takes me back to some of their old school stuff. It's every single song is just
Yeah, because I really liked
articulate.
their first album, and I was really into like my punk pop kind of stuff back then, but I haven't listened to them since then.
Oh, for sure.
I didn't even know they were a thing, to be honest. Still,
I didn't either, and that's why I looked them up. I was like, let me check it out and see, because I heard them on the radio, and I was like, well, let me see if they're still a thing. And turns out they just dropped one
Well,
this past year.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I'm a little too old for them. They were, like they were getting popular when I was like my 20s, early 20s, something like that, maybe late teens, but it wasn't my thing at the time anyways. But yeah, I'm too old.
Honestly,
Or his new
man,
name for his playlist is Our Lord and Savior Slayer.
honestly,
It
man,
might
my favorite release was probably Deftones. Like I'm always been a big fan of them.
That was a good album.
Yeah, the new one really was good. And
I
they
was
just
really
released
surprised by it.
the 20th anniversary of White Pony. So that
Oh really? It's
that
been
was
20 years.
yeah, they're an old band, man.
Yeah, they've been around. Well, their first album was like 94 or something, right?
Yeah, even earlier than that, maybe. Let me see here.
Adrenaline, that was their first album.
Oh, 95.
That's
their
close.
first album. Yeah. Honestly, man, this is like very controversial as far as like Deftone fans go, but I don't like my favorite album of them started what's the one with the owl on it in 2010?
Oh, I don't know. Can't remember that.
Diamond Eyes.
That's your favorite album by them?
That's not my favorite, but I feel like everything past that is when I started to really like them. Like those are the albums that I kind of fell in love with them with.
Yeah.
But like their earlier albums, I'll listen to them and I enjoy them. But Diamond Eyes forward is when I really like.
That is interesting. Like my favorite album by them would be Around the Fur. That one's perfection as far as Deftones go. But getting back to their new album, I was really surprised by it. I wasn't expecting much from it because I didn't really like the previous like 2 albums that much.
Oh, gotcha.
But the new one kind of touched on their older sound. Not that they've really changed their sound in the last 20 years. They have their sound and it's like who they are.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like it was them.
Right.
I know other people that didn't like it, but I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was good for sure.
It's interesting to see how like bands grow and the generations that keep up with the bands go. Like Weezer, Pinkerton was probably in hindsight it was one of their not so great albums, but then as years and years went on, their fan base started to grow, and now it's like they'll play Pinkerton all the way through.
Yeah.
Before COVID, obviously, but it was just like it's interesting to see how certain people view it as trash, but then the newer generations are like, oh my word, this is so interesting.
Well, it depends on when you come into a band. Like if you like Cal was saying with the Deftones, he started with that album and likes them from there on. But like an older fan that started with their first album isn't gonna really like their newer stuff. It's where you came into it,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Blink 182 fans.
Right.
When it's like once Tom DeLonge left, Look, I don't want to hear it.
Right,
Let me say what I need to say, and then you can criticize me, because I know that. Look, I know it's coming. I like their new stuff. I feel like the new guy didn't slow him down at all.
The
Like,
new guy.
the
Do you
new
even
guy,
know who the
hold
new
on.
guy is, Cal?
Yes.
Any idea?
I forget his name, but I know
Matt
he was.
Skiba.
Thank you.
What band did he play in? I never
Alkaline
listened.
Trio.
Yeah, I never listened to Alkaline Trio.
See, I was an Alkaline Trio fan before.
Corey's an
Blink-182.
Alkaline Trio head.
So,
Gotcha.
like, I was really excited to see Matt come into it, but I didn't really care for what they did. Because I like Matt on his own in Alkaline Trio versus what he did in
Gotcha.
Blink-182.
So I'm alone on this one. I've never been a diehard Blink-182 fan, but I like
let me tell you.
from a distance, like I respect Tom DeLonge because he's just a really awesome guy.
Me too. I respect him.
But I
met him. I don't know if you're.
And honestly, man, I respect his decision to do his own thing for sure. But I don't know. I liked the new Blink stuff. That's just me.
There are certain songs, like, I get what they were trying to do.
Right.
You know, they went back and forth, and Cory and I have talked about this for years, is that they had gone back and forth about whether they were going to continue as Blink or start with a new project name, you know, but there are some, they wanted to continue the legacy. And what that means is this: they wanted to continue the sense of like where their roots were from. And you see certain elements of that in their newer songs, is that they go back to, like, you know, what the kids wanted to hear.
The problem I had with that is that these dudes are in their 40s and they're still trying to play like they're 19, and it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I get that side of it too. It's like, because I feel like that's what Tom DeLonge kind of felt like. Is
he was kind of like, he grew up.
Yeah,
he wanted to progress.
Right. Yeah, exactly. He wanted to progress. He wanted more out of his career, and to develop and find new sounds. But I feel like
which he did.
Mark and
he did good stuff. Yeah,
Mark and Travis. Yeah, thank you. Wanted to, I think especially Mark wanted to just like keep the Blink sound and just keep it going and be kids forever.
Yeah.
But you know, I can't totally blame him for that, because it's like, that's when you're in a band, you know, and that's all you think about. You don't want to grow up. You want to continue to have fun and keep things.
Right.
I'm guilty of it 100%. I never wanted to grow up. I always wanted to be in a band, and I still do.
But at some point, for dudes in their 40s, it becomes sad.
40s is like, I mean,
it's like, come on, all right.
Pushing it. And now it's like, but hey, you know, if the people come and listen, you can't blame them for.
If you came to their show, you expect them to play like a song from their first couple albums. But then, you know, if they played something from their newer albums, it keeps everybody happy. And it's like, okay, you see the whole progression of what they've done.
It's got to play to everybody and every kind of audience.
Yeah. But I also feel like that if Mark, like the rest of the band, were willing to grow more with Tom DeLonge and like explore new sounds, like, and they did a little bit, because you notice how he explored new riffs and more complicated like guitar, like
they did more mellow
guitar riffs
towards the end of that too.
Yeah, and it just wasn't like 3-chord progressions. You know, he started to play some like little ditties on the guitar and like different riffs. But at a certain point, they were like, all right, we still want to be Blink. But Tom was like, all right, I don't want to just be Blink anymore.
Right, exactly. And like, and honestly, you know, he is going to return eventually. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. But if you look at the end of like kind of that little part in his career, people forget the Dogs Eating Dogs EP, is that in that sound, they were really trying to explore new roots and stuff like that. And it was honestly one of the cooler sounding EPs that come out. And that's actually a good topic to talk about. Do you guys think that, you know, when we came out with our EP, that was kind of us branching out as far as, it's kind of like a test subject, you know, and really, when you come out with an EP, sometimes that's better than coming out with, 12 or 13 songs. An EP is so digestible. Like that, I've always appreciated that about something like that. Like the one that I was just talking about, the red jumpsuit apparatus one, that is fire. Like, and I'll continue to listen to it. And it's just solely based on the fact that it's not too much content.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but it also leaves you wanting more. So expecting their next, like if they release an EP before an album, then it's like, oh wow, that was just a little taste, and I want more now. Yeah. It's like, for instance, the Contortionists, my favorite band. You should look them up if you haven't. They released an EP. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but it was like 4 songs, and one of them was a cover of a Smashing Pumpkins song.
1976.
And I was just like, yeah, it was
79.
1979. It was a fantastic cover.
It was great.
But like, I was just mad that it was 4 songs and a cover, but like not mad like at the band, like just mad that I wanted more.
Yeah, and I feel like it's definitely a good strategic move if a band is going to do that and then release an album.
Yeah.
But it's sometimes when the band is just struggling to put out content and they just push out an EP because it's quicker than an album, but they have no intention of finishing the album anytime soon, that I feel like they start to get in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the fans get upset and they're just like, well, we knew this was going to happen. It just becomes irregularities.
I don't know. I feel like bands really don't do EPs that much anymore. That's kind of a rare thing. It just nobody.
Yeah, it's more of like, I feel like EPs are more of like when a band is starting out and they're not ready to put out a full album, but like if they're starting to tour and stuff, but they want to put out something for people to listen to so they can actually build a fan base, that's when they put out an EP. And then
you have 4 or 5 albums already out, like and then you put out an EP. It doesn't make sense, but
unless they're kind of exploring something and kind of testing the waters. I've seen bands do that too, and I'm sure that's what Red Jumpsuit is probably doing, is because I feel like they've been off the market for a while, and they're probably trying to jump back in and get some attention.
It's a good way to test name in years. Come back, a good way to test out your fan base to see if you still have that, juice. If it's still something that people want to hear, then the loyal ones will come back and check it out.
Always interesting seeing a band like that now. It's like that came out when you were a teenager and you went and saw it and it was just like a crowd full of teenagers. And now you go see it and it's like a crowd full of 30-something-year-olds. And like, oh wow, we all got old, huh? It's the same people. We're just older.
That's what happens when I go to shows with Cory. They're like, get this old guy out of here.
That's what happens.
Put him in a chair and seat him in the balcony, okay? Come on. You don't want to get his dandruff all over our little mosh pit, all right?
Man.
Come on.
Anyways, the topic that I started, I'm going to throw out my favorite album. We got way off on a tangent there.
No, it's good. It's all good.
What's going on with my video? Sorry.
It's a band called I Am Abomination.
Oh, those guys are awesome.
You heard of them? I'm very surprised.
Yeah, come on.
All right. So because this is, what Google says they are, because they're a technical progressive metal / post-hardcore band. And their album Passion of the Heist 2 is fantastic. It's all about aliens. It's super weird.
Is that all one word? I am an abomination.
I am abomination.
Oh, I am abomination.
Yes, there you go. Yep.
I am Obama Nation.
Obama Nation. Yeah. Anyways, that album came out last year. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Listen to it. If you don't like progressive, crazy technical metal, maybe not. But it's not. They don't do a whole lot of like screaming or anything.
Why am I having so much trouble with this?
I don't know.
All right. You know what?
I'll text it to you later.
Yeah, definitely. Do that for sure.
Check it out. There's a fantastic
Carl, how was your merchandise coming out?
My merchandise? I don't want to spill too much, but I am working on some stuff. Well, bro, I haven't released it. This is going to the public.
You think that everybody and their sisters lining up like, ooh.
Well, I mean, no, but I still don't want to say too much. I'm still working on it. Like because of the fact that like I could say something on here and then completely change my mind and do something else, and then people will be like, well, what the heck?
Yeah, true.
Not that I'm like
multiple times.
Yeah.
I'll complain.
No kidding.
Hold on, I gotta get a fresh beer. Hold on, I'll be right back. You guys continue.
Good. Let's talk about Cory while he's gone. Fat, smelly, mean.
Actually, you know what? Let's I'm gonna grab a fresh beer. Looks like Sam's almost out, so
I'm gonna be talking to the audience while you're gone.
We're gonna take a short break.
We're taking what? No, I want to talk.
We'll be back. No, you are not talking. Okay, we'll be right back, guys.
We were talking about trajectory.
No, we're not. We're back, guys. We've all got something fresh. Well, I don't know. Sam does too. Oh, and he's got hair razor.
I cracked this off camera while we were paused too.
I did. I cracked one. I cracked it too. Honestly,
this is how you pour it. Now that it's on video, by the way. Hey.
Oh boy.
More vigorously. Here we go. Now pour more vigorously. Dump it in now.
Make it a head. There you go. Give it that head.
That's there it is.
You want?
That's a little too much, but you know what?
Yeah, a little too much head, but you know, that's what she said.
I was gonna say, said no one ever.
I'm glad it wasn't me that made that comment.
Oh man.
Oh.
Yeah, you're gonna hear about that one later.
You know what?
Hey.
No, we won't. I've met his wife. She's great. She's better than you ever will be.
Most people are.
No. Look, if anything, she's more of a Michael Scott fan than I am. So
great. Honestly, on a serious side for just a second, Cal.
Yeah.
Your wife is one of the nicest people and positive people that I've ever met. And congratulations to you. She's great.
Thank you.
Really.
Yeah. I lucked out on that one, man, for sure.
One of the marriages that I actually support.
Can we not talk about your opinion on marriage, please?
Oh God. Yeah. Wait, save that.
Just stop.
No, but
what do I care? I got my own podcast.
There you go.
Yeah, talk about it then.
I do appreciate that though, man.
Great.
Yeah, I agree.
Not better than me, but she's great.
Oh man. But anyways, so I'm drinking this is it's called the Beer Diviner. It's a really local spot near my house. It's pretty much just an old guy that brews beer in this little tiny
palm reader.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You said he's a diviner.
He divines
the same thing.
He divines beer. He magically makes it appear.
Like a paper tiger.
It's like unless you're driving by the road that his shop is on, which is it's on a main road. So if a lot of people drive by it, but he has no social media. He has a website, but it's like stupid, terrible. Nobody ever goes on it, but it's pretty good beer. I mean, it's literally 10 minutes away from my house. It's just an old guy that brews beer. I think he has like a young kid helping him with like the tap room back when that was a thing. But he just started doing cans. Like he never did cans, but
yeah. Sure the pandemic forced him to do that.
Yeah, pretty much. I honestly thought he was going to go out of business because he's so old school. He like doesn't want to do any social media, doesn't want to do anything like that. But his beer is great. Like I'm having his Stagecoach Porter is what it's called, and it's aged in wine barrels. It's 8.2%, so it's like decent ABV. And it's really like chocolatey and smooth. It's got some like slight wine, like dark wine characteristics, but it's not like overpowering. It's interesting. It's different.
Like a dirty cupcake.
Sure. Are you guys drinking the same thing? Just another.
Yeah, I'm drinking the same thing. Another Enigma from Progression. So
I actually switched over. I like trying different ones, but and that Lord Hobo was actually a new one that I tried. But I actually got an old school one that Cory showed me years and years ago.
That's my favorite beer.
Hair Razor is his favorite. It's a phenomenal beer. It tastes so good.
That was a good beer for sure.
It was.
Yeah, Cory introduced me to that one as well.
Yeah,
It was
very good.
Fantastic. Yeah.
We used to drink those when we go to shows too. That's the other thing I miss about going to shows. And I was talking to a guy today. There's a local brewing company in Keene that just it really just started popping off, and I'm actually going to give them a shout out because they are going to come on the show, I think, and do a podcast.
Yeah, definitely, man. Shout them out.
Hang on, I got to switch over to the Why Are You Laughing channel. Modest Man Brewing. I was there for their soft opening. And I was in my local watering hole today, just having lunch or whatever, and one of the reps, the general manager, actually came in to there today. And we were just shooting the breeze, chopping it up. And I started talking to him, and I was telling him that Founders Beer has actually scheduled a tasting with my show, and we're going to do a live tasting on that. I got to just shout.
What does that mean, a live tasting?
Well, he's going to drop some product off at the place that I go to that's right next to my house, Main Crest.
Okay.
He's going to drop some beers off for me, and then we're going to Zoom and taste them.
Who, like a representative of Founders? Or
Yeah, like he's
You're
friends with
kidding.
the owners and stuff like that. No, phenomenal guy, wicked nice, and I'm actually excited.
Cool. Yeah, Founders is like one of the OGs of the craft. I mean, everybody knows Founders, like,
For sure.
Yeah.
So we were just,
crazy.
bebopping back and forth, and we were talking about how, local music, we miss going to shows because just to try different types of beers and see which venues had different types of IPAs and so forth. I think that's one of the things that we miss the most.
Yeah. Yeah.
Such a big deal.
Definitely, man. What stinks is I missed most of that because I turned 21 in March of 2019. So that, I was only drinking for about a year before this, before shows weren't a thing anymore. So, I mean, I got a little bit of experience of.
Cory was drinking when Clinton was in the administration.
Oh boy. Here
know
we
what I'm
go.
saying?
Not true, but not too far off.
Yeah, right. Oh man. But yeah.
Clinton was in administration when Sam was born.
Yeah, I find that thing interesting though, Cal, about what you were saying about that guy that doesn't use social media. And I was going to ask you guys that same question.
Yeah.
But before I ask the question, I'll make this statement. I wish that I had that type of vision of where like social media, because Cory and I come from the days when you didn't have any social media. There wasn't anything like that until
I do too, but
later on it came after that. I'm just saying, like, it just wasn't used. It wasn't like it is now.
Right. Yeah. It's different.
I wish I had that mindset to where, I don't think about having that sort of conglomerate where I'm only focused on one thing to do 100%.
Well, the thing is, man, is it's kind of like, it would be nice, but at the same time, it's just not how the world works now.
Right,
and
exactly.
if you want to promote your business, promote your brand, you need to.
Right. And that's what I was going to ask you is that, like, do you guys think, because both of you, Cory with CRC and obviously you with Brewz and now 40 Films, how important is that to what you guys are doing? Because Cory and I have often talked about utilizing Facebook, utilizing hashtags, utilizing the videos. It's such a huge content builder now.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that it's just going to keep growing and growing, or do you think it's going to
Absolutely.
be the same?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's everything. If you're not doing social media, you're gonna fail at some point.
Yeah. Let me drop some knowledge on you real quick though, Sam, because the Instagram algorithm changed. And there's like a bunch of videos on that, and I'm sure it will continue to change. But Instagram Reels, whether you hate them or you love them, it's the way to grow your page. They
started that yet.
absolutely crush views. Like every minimum of 400 views on all my reels. Maybe not this last one, but especially like Emberlyn does like book stuff with her Instagram, and she's getting like 1,000 views, 2,000 views, like ridiculous amount on reels. Like, and hashtags, like you should definitely still do them, but they don't even matter that much anymore.
Yeah.
They don't like, no, not as much as you would think.
Huh.
Well, when a company like that comes out with something new, they're going to push it, like the reels.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to push that harder than anything else to get that to catch.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Therefore, that's where the views are going to be at. So,
and then the algorithm, it's weird. Like if you're posting photos, what's going on with your camera, dude? Like,
I don't know,
you're
dude.
out of focus. Oh, there it goes again.
Focus, dude.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if this is on video, you'll just get to see shots of me being handsome. Okay? Don't worry about nothing.
Is that why you're breaking your camera? Your camera's just like,
I keep breaking it.
It can't handle it.
I don't even know how I would break it. I'm so uncultured. I don't know what's going on here. No, that's interesting that you say that though, Cal, because I didn't realize that the reels is kind of taking over sort of like a TikTok sort of thing.
Well, TikTok is still really big, and I think that TikTok was still.
It's big in China.
It will still. It will still compete. It'll still compete with Instagram 100%. But
for sure,
it's reels are popping off on Instagram, and with the way the algorithm works, if you're posting pictures, you should always be posting multiple, like as many as you can, because the way the algorithm works is the longer you're staring at a post without scrolling, they think your information is valuable, and so they will continue to spread that post more and more and more. Like the more comments it has, the more shares it has. That's really how Instagram is working. So that's how you really need to promote. Like the more activity, the more I guess activity that you have with your audience, the more you interact is the word I was looking for. The more you interact with your audience, the better it is. So like in stories, always do like a poll, always do like the question thing.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah. But
it's become such a drive-through experience now. It's just everybody wants something that's quick, and ready to go.
Right.
Yeah, and that's honestly, man, that's why I'm trying to get rid of like the long videos on my Instagram. Like because YouTube, I feel like is the place that people go to watch videos. Instagram is kind of just like you said, it's quick, it's easy. They just want to fly through it, and that's it.
It really stinks for somebody like me who, I'm 5 years shy of 30. You can't take nothing away from me now, and I really don't care if it gets popular or not. Like Cory said last podcast, with all of us, if it's your passion and you enjoy doing it, it's something creative, you put it out there. Because it's something that you love to do. But at that same token,
I can't believe you remembered that. But yeah,
I don't remember what I said.
I do remember something like that.
You do want it to grow if you want to grow an audience.
Yeah, I mean, I think I also said something like to the effect of, it doesn't matter if you like doing it, just do it for you.
Right. Yeah. That's the whole
thing. But that'll show through. If you enjoy what you're doing, it'll
grow
through, and people will like that you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah, you honestly, and especially in this game, I was telling the guy at the watering hole today, I said, look, it's not, because he was talking about his business and how, he doesn't know if it's going to keep momentum because of COVID, and really nobody does. But the point is like, in this game, especially with the podcasting game, you have to outlast everybody else. That is how you're going to stay relevant. If you give up, then it all goes away.
Just consistency, and like you said, always post the stuff that you want to do. Just post good content that you're enjoying, and it's just going to grow naturally. Honestly, that's my philosophy.
Like you said, consistency and just constantly putting out content, even if it's bad. Just put out content.
Yeah,
it'll eventually get noticed.
Yeah,
like I cannot believe. I don't know if you guys listen to the show frequently. I mean, I know Cal does, but Cory obviously has.
I'm a terrible person.
He has no time for any friends right now. With all 1,000 children. Anyway,
1,100.
The number of countries that are coming on to listen to the show, I have 24 countries right now. You know, and that to me is I'm satisfied with that. It doesn't matter to me like how many estimated listeners are doing this thing. I like doing it, and I like that other people appreciate what I'm doing. They don't even live here. They probably barely even speak the language, but it must be that kind of interesting.
These could be people using VPNs, but you know,
that's I don't know how that works, but that could be it. But I know. I hate
to bust your bubble, but
I don't know. I just go by what Anchor tells me. That's it.
It is true. It is true though, because I have a guy in Belgium that I talked to about beer that's on my Instagram, but he was like, all right, I'm going to go check out the podcast. And then sure enough, number of countries increased. And I was like, oh, it's Belgium.
Well, I mean, at least you can confirm that one.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Hi, Belgium.
Yeah. If you're still listening to this, I'm sorry, man, I forget your name, but
Theodore Brown.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't speak good English, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good. But I appreciate you wherever you are.
Belgium, you just said it.
No, he's
Al, you're starting to lose it, buddy.
Look, we're only 2 beers in. This is gonna get
ugly real quick.
I'm like this without alcohol. Trust me. You can ask Cory, you can ask anyone.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's unfortunate. Oh man. So, all right.
Next question.
That wasn't even on our agenda, but it was interesting. But I kind of wanted. We're all big Star Wars fans here, and I haven't really gotten a chance to talk about this on the podcast,
especially Mr. Reynolds.
Yeah.
I've been watching the Star Wars since before both of you were born.
And this might get controversial.
When Moby Dick was a guppy.
Oh my gosh. This might get controversial. This might get
stupid camera
heated.
God, mother doesn't love you.
This might get heated, but let's talk about, like, I originally said let's talk about how Disney ruined Star Wars, but thanks to these guys, I amended that statement because I really do think they're making a comeback. They got rid of that Ryan guy who directed the episode 8 Last Jedi.
Oh God, that guy should be shot, hung, and then shot again.
Oh my God, he doesn't deserve to die. He just should never direct a Star Wars movie.
He should just never direct anything ever again.
No, never.
Oh man, and then Kathleen Kennedy is out as well, so thank goodness for that. So they're making a comeback for sure. But let's talk about just like
Dunkaroos.
What is with that? Okay, hang on. What is with Dunkaroos coming back? Because there's now a cereal as a Dunkaroo cereal.
Yes.
I don't get it.
It's millennials that grew up with that
it's
crap.
not. It's not. Okay, pause. Let me just say one thing. Dunkaroos, my personal favorite snack of the 90s. 100%. It was my all-time favorite.
We were barely alive in the 90s.
Can I finish? You interrupting?
You weren't even old enough to snack in the 90s.
Me and my sister used to fight over who was going to get the last pack. I was running with my little chubby diabetes-infested legs to the fridge. Yeah! serious, dude. We were getting fights. That cookie jar was steaming, Jack. I'll tell you what.
Why did you keep Dunkaroos in the cookie jar?
Please, because they were cookies with
But
frosting.
they were in individual packs.
You had to cherish them. You had to treat them like they were your children.
That's like saying you take Oreos out of the package and put them in a cookie jar.
You take a butter knife and you scrape off the frosting. You put it in a separate container, and then you re-smear it on when you're ready to go.
No, they were my favorite snack of all time, and they're back, and it's so good.
Have you ever, like, I don't know about your trick or treat Keen Walmart, because your Walmart is absolute garbage. But a real Walmart, you walk in the cereal aisle, and there's all these ridiculous cereals now. There was Sour Patch cereal, there's Dunkaroo cereal, there's Crayon cereal.
Sam would have liked that one. He loved crayons.
That's right. Oh, what's going on?
There's what else? There's Minions cereal. There's I can't even remember, man.
There's Minions cereal.
Yeah, there's Minions cereal.
I avoid stores, so I don't even know what they sell anymore.
Yeah.
Corey avoids stores, people, anything to do with happiness. Where else?
I don't think it depends what store you're in. Sometimes store does not equate to happiness. Like Walmart is the opposite of happiness.
I beg to differ. Stans equates to happiness.
That's the one. That's
What the heck is Stans?
Big shout out to Orange right there.
They're an awesome liquor store in town.
Please,
okay, gotcha.
It has everything. That's where we went.
They literally have everything.
Well, that's like when we first started the band, that we would go get pizza. Stan's was right, close nearby. We would go to Village to go get chicken bacon ranch, where I would lose my breath and start having a panic attack. And the guy behind the counter was like, "Are you okay?" And then when we'd swing into Stan's, they'd get beer and they'd buy me a little energy drink for the drumming session.
He was 12.
Yes.
It's a long time ago.
12. 12 plus 4.
Oh man. That should be your band name. Your next band, Sam. 12 plus 4.
I'm not starting another band.
I was just joking. But maybe that can be your solo project.
Anyway, let's get back on topic here. Star Wars. No, we were talking about Star Wars, and somehow you brought up Dunkaroos. I don't even know how that happened.
Yeah, no, because I said Disney's making a comeback with Star Wars, and then Sam was like, Dunkaroos are making a comeback, and blah, 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 blah.
That was the best Sam impression I've ever heard.
Shut up. Yes, Star Wars is doing well.
Yeah, but let's talk about when it wasn't. Like, let's talk about the things that was wrong with the last trilogy that came out.
I'm gonna like Corey.
Yeah. But let's start at 7 though, because at first I thought, okay, here's a safe play. Here's a decent movie. But then it just got worse and worse. And once you dive into the details, it really just does not make any sense.
It doesn't work at all. No, I thought 7 was great, actually.
Yeah,
it was like
I thought it was the best of the 3.
It was the greatest.
Yeah. Out of the 3, it was for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, they played it safe. They basically followed the script of A New Hope.
Yeah.
And while making it slightly different or whatever. But like George Lucas always said, it's like poetry, it rhymes. It's supposed to have connections here everywhere. If you look at the original trilogy and then the sequel trilogy, you'll see all the connections where it rhymes, and then you see how that's supposed to be so similar to what happened already, and it makes sense within the universe that he made. But it was a little too safe.
Yeah.
It was fine, but I loved the movie. And we went to the theater and I felt like a kid again watching that. It was great.
True. Like at the time it was like, oh my God, like this is happening for real.
Right.
But then it's like you dive in to, it's almost like you didn't want to notice the flaws because it was new Star Wars, and Star Wars was so long. but they were like finally doing something with it.
Yeah.
And you thought, Disney, here's our Lord and Savior for the Star Wars universe.
Right.
Here they come, to actually make content.
At that point, it was just like it was all over for fans. They're like,
Yeah, right.
something was happening. It's like when your favorite snack comes back. You are pumped. You are pumped. I was pumped.
I swear,
there was hair in the icing. I was still gonna eat it. You think I'm not gonna go buy Dunkaroos? Are you out of your tree? Go watch the movie. Of course, I'm gonna go watch the Star Wars. Please.
But
you got to be on 3 different kinds of mescaline, and your mother just put you up for adoption. Okay, there's no reason. Come on.
All right.
Oh God.
All right, Cory,
Pause.
Pause and edit.
Oh man, no. But like, that was our feeling at the time. But let's talk about the flaws, because then Mark Hamill pointed out 5 million things, and he tried to warn you about Last Jedi too. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. But like, his ideas, they should have just let Mark Hamill direct the movie, because he was like, when Han Solo was in trouble or trying to find Ben Solo, he was like, Leia should go off on her own and try to find Han and save him from Ben, or try to save their son. And then Luke shows up and he saves the day, and then that didn't happen. And then when the lightsaber was moving in the snow in the fight between Kylo Ren and Rey, it's like, Luke should have been the one to pick up the lightsaber, not stinking Rey, who had never held a stupid lightsaber in her whole entire life. And
and you know what the sad thing is, as a side point, just a little backstory on
that Dunkaroos went away in general. What? Is that where you're going to go with this? Because you keep.
I was going to say is that you will never see those 3 on screen again.
True.
Yeah. No.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, that is sad.
They defied a generation. They really.
I mean, it was good enough that they had them at all.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree, but at the same
with
time,
that.
it was just like, I think it could have been structured to where, eventually they would find each other, and
Yeah.
I, of course, I didn't write the story, and I don't know how I would, but I mean, if anything, Cory would know how to word it better than myself. But it's like, it was just a different time, and it was a very family oriented thing, and you could tell that, as much as The Last Jedi sucked, it was like you could tell that they still all really cared about each other, and
right.
It was just it was never going to happen again.
I just wish that they had listened to the people who were actually in Star Wars movies before, like Mark Hamill, and just ended it on a good note. Instead of Mark Hamill being like, all right, I'm never going to be a part of Star Wars. Like, I hated what you did with it. Right. Let me step away.
They could have listened to George Lucas, who already had these movies scripted out.
Right.
They threw those away. The guy, maybe that wrote everything might have a good idea or two here.
Yeah. And then like,
kind of drives me nuts a little bit.
Like force sensitive stormtrooper, and then you think, okay, here's the Jedi. Here's the Jedi that's going to come out of the works, and then Rey picks. I'm sorry, I just can't get. The lightsaber was supposed to be like something sacred that was like this beautiful weapon that took years and years of training to actually be able to yield and not kill yourself with it.
Right. Well, and if you could imagine Sam picking up a lightsaber, how many limbs he would chop off?
Yeah, exactly.
In 5 seconds. It's like that. I mean, it's just a ridiculously dangerous thing, and it's like you can't just pick that up and just know what you're doing with it.
And then the other part of that
no disrespect to you, but I've been watching Star Wars since '99, Jack. Okay,
that makes him a Jedi, apparently.
No, but I was around, okay? a lot of these people, a lot of these like Gen Z, they have no idea what you and I are talking about right now.
Let me touch on this though. I feel so bad for the kids that grow up and think that this is Star Wars. Because
I agree.
Because like I have like Amberlyn and I have a friend in our hall, and she's just graduating high school, right? And her first movie was Episode 8. Like she was never into Star Wars.
Ew.
Her first movie was Last Jedi, and she watched. You know, she doesn't like 4, 5, and 6 now or anything because she thinks this is what Star Wars is.
See,
it's like, why?
Yeah, say what you will about the prequels, but they were not anything compared to what trash is right now.
Right.
Yeah, you cannot trash the prequels anymore because at least they told the story correctly.
So I grew up, right? I'm old. I only had the original trilogy, right?
Right, yeah.
I saw the prequel trilogy come in. I didn't like them.
Right.
It's because it was new, right? Whatever.
Right.
But like our friend James, how old is James? He's like your age. He's pretty
21.
much your age. So yeah. He was a kid when the prequels came out, and he has a soft spot for them because those were Star Wars for him. That's what came out when he was a kid. And when you were a kid, I'm sure you have similar feelings. Like
like
you didn't see the flaws. You saw Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe you didn't see the original trilogy before that. I don't know, but it's like I saw the flaws because I was like, oh, I don't like this. It's new. It's not great. Now I look back, I'm like, okay, it's not bad, but it's like I had those problems with it, but like I can see where this person you're talking about comes into it at Episode 8, and they're probably like fine with that and don't like the old stuff, and it's like all us old people are like, no, this is trash.
Yeah, and they just don't understand it. They don't understand. Like they look at the old movies and they think they're flawed because they're so stinking different than 7, 8, and 9.
And Cal and I have talked about this previously on my show, is that you know they just unfortunately they had to backtrack and sort of reiterate all this stuff that didn't get to be shown in Episode 8, which everybody had big expectations for and did not have.
Yeah, exactly.
It's too bad. It really is too bad because it's like, I think, you know, and there again, it's obviously one foot in the grave and another on a banana peel. You should have sold it to Favreau when you had the shot.
Honestly.
Favreau is our Lord and Savior.
I mean, please.
Honestly.
Look at what he's done with this entire franchise.
He saved it single-handedly. Well, not single-handedly. He had what's his face, Filoni helping him.
Yeah. Because those two together, like I mean, like the whole group of directors that did Mandalorian they're all fantastic.
People, they all care enough, you know.
Let me ask you this, Corey. You know, you've been around since the Return of the Jedi days.
That is not true. I'm not that old.
Well, you know, the Johnson administration wants to hire you back.
Oh, boy.
But, you know, there again, you grew up with the movies before the prequels.
Right.
How do you feel about the connection between, you know, obviously Mandalorian takes place after the events.
Right. It's like 3 to 5 years or something. I can't remember.
Correct.
After Return of the Jedi. I think it's 3 years.
You were around. So it's like, as comparison to those years to what has happened now, you know, the accuracy.
It feels like it never stopped, you know?
Right.
It feels.
That's what I think.
Fluid, you know? Like
yes.
They have the same like textures and grit and feel to the old movies, and like
as it should.
Right, exactly. And like when you watch it, they're so detail focused, and I love that.
Yeah,
the smallest, 100%. Stupidest little detail, and it keeps you immersed into that world and the time period.
Yeah,
like obviously Return of the Jedi, or all of them, like they had 80s tech, you know, like what was thought as futuristic tech at the time, and they've gone back and like mimicked all of that to make it look the same, because you know then the next movies are 30 something years after that, so everything's kind of more, you know, modern.
You just worked with what you had.
I just love the details, and they kept everything so similar and so accurate.
You know what I really like? I feel like what it
Close.
really attributed to them being like that too is I don't know if you've seen any behind the scenes at all, but
little
like
bit, yeah.
the fact that they didn't use green screens. I mean, in some scenarios they
Yeah.
had to, I think, but it was all LED panels. It was
Yeah.
all this. They actually immersed the character in the world for
Yeah.
each scene. I feel like that really helped with exploring the detail. And obviously, like green screen and CGI has come so far, but I feel like that
Oh, please.
that was really awesome. And in small details, like we know, like in the prequels, Yoda was CGI, but the fact that they bring in Grogu, the same
Not in the first one.
species. No, not yeah, but like
Not in 1999, Jack.
no, but like
I am a puppet.
Oh yeah, I mean they used a puppet for Grogu, which is great.
but he looks so good. Like,
I mean, I'm sure they touched him up with CGI.
Yeah,
here and
yeah,
there,
yeah,
too.
yeah,
They had
yeah.
to, but
Yeah.
the fact that he's still a puppet and he's still, tangible, just
Mhm,
kind of brings an
mhm.
element of realism. But yeah, you look at Yoda
You know,
in the prequels, and it was just like, ugh, just
I
it
think-
didn't
Yeah,
fit.
although
It was gross.
I don't understand. Here's my one criticism for just like the whole, like the George Lucas part of Star Wars when he had control, is there is like I feel like character missing development because he just didn't.
Yeah.
I feel like he didn't know which direction he wanted to go after when he made the prequels compared to 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Because like Yoda is this crazy old man, and I kind of get it to a certain extent because he's been locked away on Dagobah for who knows how long. But at the same time,
19 years? No, more
Yeah.
than that. 20, 23.
at the same time, do you really think he would be that crazy compared to this wise old man? But
Yeah,
then
you
all of
think
a
he would've
sudden
lost
he
it, though.
changes. He changes from this crazy whatever to like this really wise dying thing. And
I mean, I think. I mean, to
in
be
Return
honest,
to the Jedi.
I think that was kind of the whole point.
Yeah, I think he was just having fun with Luke, just messing with him.
There's a
certain.
certain.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
There's a certain amount of training. There's a certain amount of comfortability. It's like when you're trying to figure somebody out, and especially if you're meeting them for the first time, you and I'm guilty of this too. Is like you have to have a certain element of humor and like
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
not trying to make them feel like they're the outsider. You're
Well-
trying to be happy and positive, and that's exactly what he did in episode 5. And then if you want now, once they go to episode 8, which I don't like to talk about it because I hate the film, but the one good scene in the movie was when he actually showed up.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah,
started
that's
to
true. That's true.
Bring back some of that sort of juice from episode 5.
When you really think about it, he was messing with Luke because
Yeah.
he recognized him. He knew exactly
Yeah.
who Luke was when he showed up. He's like, oh wait, I don't want anything to do with this dude.
Doesn't have
It's
to
Right.
like, let's scare him away.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Then when he was obligated to train him, he took on that more serious note.
Yeah. Right. That's true. That's true. He knew it was coming for
Yeah.
sure. He knew it was coming at some
When you
point.
really like dig into the older movies, the details were really well looked after as well in that sense. Like
Yeah.
you kind of see it as, oh, it's just funny, he's just being ridiculous, but like no, there was a reason behind all of that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's a
What-
certain amount of training that goes into
Yeah.
it made him think,
Right. Yeah.
which
that's
is
true.
what you want.
Right.
Now, if you're a Jedi, you want to be made to think and try to figure out your power. That's the whole thing.
Not like, I mean, this is the whole point. It's the trash, especially episode 8.
Is that what we're doing?
Bad.
But like this is another thing too, is like, and this is something that Mark Hamill really had a problem with, is the fact that one of the first things that Luke Skywalker says is the Jedi Order must die. And it's just like, it's such a weird, and then he completely flips the script and does the complete opposite. And then he's like, oh, he tells Rey, he's like, oh, what are you gonna do? Go up against the First Order? And what does he do? He goes up against the First Order.
Yeah, when you really think about it, it's not something Luke would have ever done.
And who, like what? Something so bad must have happened to him that he turns into a hermit that locks himself away on an island, never ever wanting to return. Like that's not what Jedis do. Like there might be a moment.
Have to work around that now, because it's like, especially if you think about it, you know, if they really are going to do the Luke series, if they're going to continue the Mandalorian series, and now that episode 8 has messed that whole thing up, they're going to have to delve into that and sort of rework that whole storyline.
Not necessarily, because if they're going between Mandalorian,
they have to show why Luke is so triggered at himself.
But dude, that takes forever though. This is like way into the future. We're talking like if you're going from the Mandalorian, that's when he was like, all right, Republic 1, let's train a bunch of Jedis. This is a bit of fan theory too. They haven't really touched on this so much, at least not yet. But I mean, I guess they did, because in episode 8, before he turns into a hermit, he's training a bunch of Padawans to become Jedis. So I mean, like there's plenty of in between time before the Ryan Johnson decides that he needs to be a hermit and lock himself away forever, and when the Republic first wins the war, and they try to rebuild.
I mean, that's going to be an interesting theory. Is like you know, and I want to ask Cory that question too, because it's like, if say that, so you know that Ahsoka is alive, okay? For the sake of argument, she's alive, and now in the Mandalorian, is it possible that some of these Padawans that were under Luke's tutelage are still alive as well?
Didn't he say he slaughtered them all though?
He slaughtered most of them and took some with him to become the Knights of Ren, or something like that. But like Ahsoka kind of renounced her title as a Jedi. She's not following the Jedi Order anymore. Correct. She doesn't.
That's why her lightsabers are white.
Yeah,
she's neutral.
Right, and
she's a racist.
No, that's not what it is. But that's also why she wouldn't train Grogu, because she's not a Jedi.
She's not part of the Order anymore.
Well, no, I thought she wouldn't train him. I thought she wouldn't train him because he was kind of like in between, like kind of harnessing the dark side.
Yeah, I mean, she mentioned that feelings. She's like, I've seen this before, you know, referencing Anakin, obviously, because Anakin trained her, but like that's why she's not a Jedi, because she didn't want anything to do with that anymore. I don't really know her story arc well enough to
and that's going to be great to figure out too, because you know, with her 10-episode series coming out, it's going to be interesting to see how her story goes.
She's more than likely going to die in that episode, in that series, because she's dead technically in episode 9, because her voice is in the voices that Rey hears.
Oh,
yeah,
but Mace
Windu's technically dead. But his voice was in there too, so he's technically dead at that point too.
How do you know all those voices are dead Jedis though?
Well, that's a good point actually.
Because they can still communicate with each other through the Force.
Point. I didn't actually think about that, but
thank you.
Yeah, there is theories that Mace Windu didn't obviously die from the fall, because obviously
nobody that falls in Star Wars ever dies.
Yeah. I don't think
nobody that falls.
I mean, like everybody was theorizing, like, oh, who's going to be the Jedi that comes to, you know, at the end in that last episode of The Mandalorian? I'm like, oh, well, first of all, it's going to be Luke, but it could be Mace Windu, it could be Ezra Bridger, it could be, you know,
it had to be
like
Luke.
4 or 5 other Jedi, they're technically still alive, but
the only one that was going to train them was going to be Luke. There's no question.
It's like you watch people's reactions and they see the X-Wing fly and they're like, who could that be? I'm like, it's Luke.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Stupid can you
What do you mean?
I know.
Yeah, it's like-
It didn't take a scientist to go, oh, wow.
Well, flying an X-wing. No, yeah, it is. It's Luke. I mean, I knew it was going to be Luke like weeks before that episode came out, but it's like you still liked the idea of like, oh, who could it be? You know, but
Yeah,
everyone-
it was still the most epic moment of that season.
It was.
Well,
Absolutely.
besides Ahsoka, because I really liked that as well.
Yeah. Rosario Dawson did a good job playing her.
She killed it. It was amazing. I
Yeah.
can't
But
wait for her.
and she's a
series.
brilliant actor. You know, any of their other films. But what I was gonna say is like I was in Florida and my friend had not seen the last 3 episodes. And so I just sat there watching him and he was just like, what? Same thing that Cory just said. Oh, who is it? Oh my God. It's gotta be Ahsoka. It's gotta be. It's
like, why would it be Ahsoka? She's the one that said no.
Anyone who's a real fan knows. You don't fly an X-Wing if you don't fly X-Wings.
Right.
When did you ever see Ahsoka fly an X-Wing?
Luke's been flying X-Wings forever. That's like his mode of transportation. That's just what he has.
Please.
Yeah, that was his. That is his X-Wing.
And then when R2 showed up, I was like,
yeah, that was a nice little icing on the cake right there.
So great.
Yeah.
So
Good,
great.
man.
And you know R2 knew who Grogu was because if Grogu was in the Jedi Temple,
Right.
R2 knew him. He's like, no, we ain't taking this dude.
Right.
That's funny. All right, so let's take a break for a second. I'm just gonna explain. I've moved on from my beer diviner.
You explain. I gotta go to the bathroom.
All right, you do that.
Diabetes. Be careful.
Are you diagnosed, sir?
Not yet.
He forgot to mute his microphone. Oh God.
We're gonna have.
Wait, hang on. I'll mute you. I'll mute you. Don't worry.
Good idea.
All
Oh, thank you.
right.
Your listeners will thank you.
Yeah, right. Oh man, no. So I moved on to actually. I kind of want Sam to hear this, so we'll just take a pause and stop. We're back, and we all got a fresh one, except Cory.
Yeah, no,
he's old. He's old, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, Cory can't move much longer. He's gonna be sitting in that chair. He's gonna have wheels on his, you know what? He's gonna be moving from room to room and just sitting everywhere he goes.
He's a slow sipper.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah,
With a wheelie cart and a beer can holder to boot.
I'm super excited about this one. I waited in line in my car for 3 hours for this can and a couple others.
That's too long.
But so I posted it on my Instagram. Another one I tried, their brown ale. It was a crowler. But Fiden's Brewing is the most hyped brewery in Albany right now. People are driving from New Jersey, Rhode Island, like you name it, every single state you can think of in the East Coast. They are driving to Albany, New York to get Fiden's Brewing. So it was probably a line of like 200 cars or something ridiculous like that. I almost gave up because I'm like, there's no way we're gonna have any cans left. But I'm so glad I didn't because I got everything I wanted. But it's called Mornings with Walter. It's a 13% Imperial Stout.
Walter.
It's with coffee, Uganda vanilla, and Madagascar vanilla, and it's literally dessert in a can. It's like as thick as used motor oil.
Honestly, that does sound delicious. I like vanilla, so
yeah, it's super sweet though. It's like such a slow sipper, and at 13%, it's pretty lethal. I'm ending the night with this, obviously.
Me too.
Bet you can't chug that.
Yeah. Oh God, dude, I would puke. I'm a lightweight to begin with, and it is so thick. I'm not like it is so thick.
It's hard to be a veteran. That's why they screen people before they go into combat. You know.
Where are we? Oh, what do you? And it matches my shirt, sort of.
Oh, look at that! Adorable.
Yeah, definitely.
Waited in line for 3 hours. I also have another one of theirs. It's like it's a 10% triple IPA. Single hop with Citra, and that one I had that one today, and that one was delicious.
I still can't find that triple IPA Galaxy Cat one that I got that one time. I can't find it, and it was so good.
I didn't like that one.
Might be limited.
Try it, Theodore Brown.
Yeah, you left one at my house, and I had had it before that, anyways. Yeah, it was like 9.3%. It wasn't my jam.
It was.
Maybe it was 10.3.
Yes.
Usually triples are at
3.
least.
Right.
Usually triples are at least 10.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't like it because it was too much.
I just learned that actually, that like because the only difference between single, double, and triple, so on and so forth, is the percentage.
Right.
Well,
yeah. Doubles always at least 8. Right.
Yeah.
Listen, when
so.
you weigh 93 pounds soaking wet with 2 rocks in your pockets, you're bound to be like, it's
3 rocks.
What you got? What you got, Sam?
I just cracked a Wizard, which is a double IPA, and it's Burlington.
Burlington
Beer Company.
Yeah, no, they make good stuff. They make some interesting stuff.
I've tried the other ones. The one with the robot on it, and then the one with the
I've had a few
lines. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'd have to go back and check it out, but very, very tasty. Very tasty.
I had one from them. It was the weirdest thing, and I cannot remember what they called it, but it was like drinking a can of bread. Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. I'll have to try to find it and send it to you. But
they used to make canned bread back when you were born.
I know that,
bro. Remember the SpongeBob episode where Squidward gets tired of SpongeBob and Patrick, so he moves to the Squidward community.
That's what Corey's gonna do to me
with all the Egg Island, and he has bread in a can for lunch every day.
Honestly, okay. So, little
multi-grain IPA. That's what they call it.
One of our beer / like chip guys. Okay, one of our beer, like when I used to work at the deli, there was a distributor that used to come in like along with the beer guys and chip guys, and he had a pair of glasses. He looked like the guy from Breaking Bad. I was like, is he gonna blow up my deli? And he would wear his glasses right here. I mean, well, that is interesting.
Well, you talking about Bryan Cranston? I love Bryan Cranston. He's the best, man.
It wasn't him. It was a different guy, but he was trying to be Bryan Cranston.
Bro, like everybody knows him from Breaking Bad, but only the true Bryan Cranston fans. Here we go. Fans. Only the true Bryan Cranston fans know him for Malcolm in the Middle.
Yes, of course. Please. Frankie Muniz is still a midget. Who knows?
Bro, I met Frankie Muniz.
No way.
Yes, I did.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's a tour manager for like some rinky-dink band now.
Really?
I say rinky-dink, but they were really good. It's a band called Astro Lasso. And they were opening up for We the Kings.
Wow.
I haven't heard of either of those bands.
They're really
because I'm old.
They're really lightweight, kind of like poppy, not even punk, like pop rock kind of.
That doesn't sound like something I'd like.
Kings is.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't like them, but they're.
Does it sound like Slayer? Then no.
You don't even like Slayer. You like one song.
I like 3 songs.
Loser.
It's more of a meme at this point.
Oh yeah, it's a Cory meme for sure.
Cory used to come into our shows for no reason. We bring him up on stage and he wear the same stupid shirt that he cut the sleeves off like he was some sort of homeless person living in a trailer park like myself. Oh, Slayer. Really? Get off stage.
You're just jealous.
Sam, do you even know? Hold up. Do you even know what homeless means? Because you're a homeless person in a trailer park. It doesn't make sense. Homeless person, trailer park. Trailer park is a home.
What do you know? Oh, no, it wasn't. I lived in less than a single wide, and I was carving for scraps every day while you were sitting in New York. Oh, I think the cereal's organic. No.
You don't know about me. Get out of here. Get out of here.
You're out of your element.
No, absolutely not. I lived in a trailer for half my life. Get out of here.
Did the trailer
I can't believe
have filtered water in it?
I can't believe we're fighting over who had the crappiest
trashiest?
childhood. Who's like had the trashiest childhood.
Oh, man.
No, I had the crappiest trailer.
I had
Oh,
less than a
God.
single wide, and some guy bought it for like 15 grand, and we bought it for 8. What an idiot!
Oh my
Honestly,
gosh.
though, no,
Less,
like
do they make
to
a
be
less than a single wide? What is it, a half wide? A 3/8 wide?
No, on the serious side for a second, like honestly, I loved living in that house. It was a lot of fun. I had
Trailer,
my own bathroom.
not a house. I grew up in a house. I know what a house is.
Yeah, good.
unlike you poor people.
Shut up.
Oh man.
No, that
I
it
can't
was
believe it.
honestly like it's funny, you know, not to get on a serious subject or anything like that, but people talk about making money.
Go
and
for it, man.
living in a certain environment. I can remember living in that house when I was younger, you know, and it was some of the best times in my life. You know, just enjoying where you were. It wasn't a question of like how much money you had or, you know, what kind of things that you had. It's like you dealt with what you had.
Absolutely. It's about making the best of what you got.
Yeah, exactly, man.
And
Yeah,
the
I can.
situation was, it's like, you know, just me and my mom growing up. It was like, it was basically her and I against the world. You know what I'm saying? It's like, she took me everywhere, even though it wasn't ideal. She still went out of her way, even though she didn't have the money, even though she didn't have the time. It's like we still went all these places together, and that's how I met all these people.
Yeah.
You know, if it wasn't for her and the life that we had when I was growing up, I would never have had the friendships that I had, guaranteed.
Yeah. Honestly, man, being in that situation, just like not having a lot of money, it allows you to be creative. And like that's what I remember about my dad or my stepdad, I should say, but he's my dad, you know. I never knew my dad.
He probably took care of you.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm really thankful for that because like we never had a lot of money growing up, but he always found a way to take us on really cool vacations, like not like extravagant, like we never flew to Europe or anything like that, but we always went like on these really cool like camping trips out in the middle of the nowhere, or like finding these really cool lakes and taking us to the ocean. It's just like it was small stuff like that was like the most memorable, and it's the reason I still love to camp today and like be adventurous and try different stuff, man.
I didn't realize that about you. I didn't know that you grew up in a trailer.
Like not my whole life, but like it slowly my dad's job slowly digressed because he was pretty high. He worked for Office Depot, like the corporate Office Depot.
Yep.
And then they kind of they went under / like they just made a bunch of cuts, and like it was like either he moved to Georgia and we had to pretty much like start a new life or quit, and he chose to quit because it would have been like crazy to move. And so and then he got like a decent job, and then it was like a slightly less decent job, and then kind of just worked its way down. Right. But I mean, he's, you know, they're in a good place now, but it was a while where it's like
funny. It's so funny you talk about that, Cal, you know, and you know, I say this with the knowledge that my mother, you know, she went from job to job, and then when I was old enough, I got a job as well, and I was the man of the house. But at the same time, you know, and you know, I owe Cory a great deal because it's like I didn't have a certain amount of family. But then when I met Cory and I got a chance to meet all these other people and form like this great conglomerate of people and really my family, the ones who I am around all the time, the ones who I talk to all the time, the ones I go for advice. It's like, you don't realize what you have until you have it, sort of thing, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's like, and the same goes for the podcast. It's like the ones who show up to do the show are the ones who actually are supporting you from day one.
Yeah, 100%.
And like, we've talked about this on the podcast before, but I was 17 when this whole thing started. And Cory was there from day one.
I was like 112 at the time.
Cory was 25, 26 when we met.
Probably too old to be doing what we were doing.
No, because you're 32.
Yeah.
And I've known you for 9 years.
Math is hard. Yeah. Yeah. I always judge that by my son because he's about to turn 10. And I think
holy cow.
I know he's gonna be 10 this month.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I met you when he was like 6 months to a year, somewhere in that. Yeah, he's like 6 months. So yeah.
That was when he had an Instagram and he was trying to be famous.
Who?
You made an Instagram page for this kid.
It still exists, but
it still exists. Why don't you post on that thing or something? Do something.
Because
the page is just sitting there like,
he was cuter then.
Mature.
Not getting the views.
Cal, have you started to like think about writing more songs or record more for the band?
Yeah, honestly, it's been a slow process because we've all had stuff that we've been going through, and it's like it kind of just like never stops. Like when we're ready to get together socially, I have to say this, socially distanced and safe and all that jazz, like our space is huge, we can be safe, and we'll make a plan and then something will come up. Like Steve's gotten hurt multiple times because he's an old man and he gets hurt easily. I love you, Steve, even though you're never going to listen to this.
I'm gonna put a bubble around that guy.
Yeah, honestly, man. And then Jonas had a few things he's going through, and then I had a few things I was going through, and then we kind of just took turns. But like Indigo is almost done. It is so stinking close, and we just have to send it out for mixing and mastering. But it's like
that's the name of the album, Indigo.
No. It's the first song.
Oh.
It's the first song.
I thought you had the whole album ready.
Performed it. Where were you?
Yeah, no, it's usually the first song.
Probably drunk. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
it's usually the first song that we play.
It's a good song.
I probably know it. I just
It's
been like a year since I've seen you guys.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, it's been a long time.
Really?
Yeah. It's been a long time. But no. So but this Sunday, because I don't really watch football and neither does Jonas, we're gonna try to finish it up. But we're still working out like logistics on what we were talking about this earlier, but I don't know if we're gonna do an EP or if we're just gonna full throttle it and do an album and just bust our way through it, because we kind of do have a process down. Like it's like half remote and half like we go in person and get it done what we need to. But it's moving forward now. It was really slow.
Yeah, well, it's good to hear. I'm really excited to hear what you guys have going, because it's time for a new album.
Honestly, man, me too. And we do have a bunch of stuff in the works. We have some merch going, some new ideas, because we've been running the butterfly and the robot head t-shirts for too long.
By the way, send me the links for your merch, and how you're.
Oh yeah, I never really answered that question, but so for Brewz Roundtable or Brewz the Review, even though it's obviously a beer channel and podcast and page and all that, I'm going to do custom flasks
Ooh.
So
You got
I'm really
way too excited about that.
Yeah. No, they're really sick. Like
Jim Beam Apple.
Got it.
I just got a like a mock-up of the company I'm working. The problem I had is like I started to make designs through Printful, which I've talked about.
Which we talked about.
But I started to really hate their quality.
Yeah, no, their quality's trash. After you told me about Printful, I got some stuff done by them, and I did not like it.
Yeah. So I'm and honestly, the big thing with me, I said it a million times, I'll say it again, is I want to support local companies as much as possible.
Especially Wild Turkey.
Yeah. I got it for free.
And I switched government.
Oh,
and I got a
my
hat
gosh.
that barely fits.
I don't drink whiskey, and so somebody gave it to me. I was like, oh, this is pretty good.
Me and this guy.
I do like a good bourbon once in a while, but I just don't drink spirits that much.
I haven't had bourbon in so long.
But yeah. Anyways,
Jim Beam is a bourbon.
It's whiskey.
Bourbon is whiskey. Bourbon is whiskey.
Why are you yelling? Why are you yelling? I'm right here. It says whiskey right on the bottle. It doesn't say
It's
bourbon.
a bourbon. Bourbon is whiskey.
It's a type of whiskey. It's a type of whiskey. Scotch is a type of whiskey. Yeah, I don't remember any others. Like I said, I don't drink whiskey, but
yeah.
Anyways. So we're doing custom flasks.
Shut up, Cory.
And they're looking really sick.
Fatty.
And we're gonna do glasses. I haven't figured out. Oh my gosh.
This is why we don't do podcasts together, because I hate you.
I
agreed.
Oh my gosh. No, so
I'm sorry, you were talking.
It's all good. We're a couple beers in at this point. It's it's lost.
A few, enough.
No, I really do want to get some merch for the podcast. Like, and you know what? I'll ask you guys that same question. Like, I mean, you guys have seen the show as far as like the YouTube channel goes and everything else. You know, if you look at the cover art, whether you listen to Spotify or Google Podcasts or Apple or whatever it may be, you know, you see that sort of front picture with me in front of the candles and everything. Should I make that the shirt, or should I do something completely different?
Change it.
Definitely different.
What should I
get rid of that picture in general?
Give me no.
Talk like as on a
some
serious
ideas for some merch. What should I
on
do?
a serious note, man? Like let's like honest like off the record and like just you and me or whatever. Let's talk logos and stuff, man. Because I made all the logos for my stuff. Like not that I'm an expert, but like if you ever want to like get some opinions, but honestly, man, like just create a logo. It's something that represents the podcast and you and is cool, like just like a something dope design. Pretty much
it's going to be difficult because there's so many things that I go into in detail about and talk about. Like I talk about brewing companies, I talk about music, I talk about Star Wars, I talk about comedy. It's just a whole sort of entertainment thing. I just would like to get some input as far as a logo.
I have some ideas. I'm going to text them to you later.
Really?
So I have a thought.
You're gonna text me?
Probably not. I'm gonna forget.
Yeah. No. There's some ways you can go with it too, man. And what I was saying, especially with like the Brewz Roundtable, man, as I'm being very selective on the stuff I release, and it's going to be in small quantities too. Not to be like I don't want it to be like, oh, limited edition, that kind of thing. I just one part, I don't want to buy like 200 t-shirts and sell 2 of them.
It's such a dope logo. Like it's just so cool looking.
Oh, thanks, man. But yeah, like but I also want to do like specialized stuff because I just think that's cooler than everybody's got their t-shirts. Everybody that has an Instagram has a merch. Everybody that has a professional podcast, Instagram, whatever you name it, or a brand of some sort, they have t-shirts. and it just like nobody wants like 5,000 t-shirts in their closet, you know what I mean? But if you have something different that appeals to the audience that you're trying to represent and trying to attract, people are going to buy that. I mean, not that I won't do t-shirts at some point in the future, but like doing the flasks, I'm going to work with I got a couple companies in mind that I've been kind of in contact with. Like there's one called I think it's called Small Glass, or a Small Batch Glass, I think. And they make like really dope beer glasses. Like you guys have probably seen the one with Grogu, and he's holding the lightsaber, and then on the other side it's got like a Darth Maul Grogu kind of weird. I'm in love with that glass. I love that glass. And that was by him too. And he did I have this little tiny one, it's called the mushroom glass. I bought it because I thought it'd be bigger, but it's really cool. It's like a little mushroom glass. But he does like really dope designs and really weird shapes as well. So hopefully I can do something with him.
Yeah, I mean, when you get glasses done, I definitely want one of those. So
yeah, definitely, man.
My dad has a sand blaster, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so if we want to do something like that, maybe the three of us could figure out a situation where we.
Oh, that would be great.
Because I have a friend of mine who's local that makes, decals, so we can put them on glasses, and I could shoot them if you'd like.
Yeah, dude, let's talk about that for sure. Because if I support somebody local and somebody that obviously we can we can 100%. Even do some kind of collab between the two podcasts and make something cool.
We should,
for sure.
We really should, and make CRC sort of a supporter.
Endorsed.
Sponsor. Make him a sponsor.
I'm just gonna come out and say I like these. This is cool.
Yeah, right.
Buy one.
But I might do hats. I might do hats too, like, because I always like a good snapback.
Talk to Cory about that hat thing, because his hats are phenomenal. I still have mine hanging up.
I had somebody that I know do my hats.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
I mean, they're not necessarily super local, but
But the thing I like is, like, I don't mind the extra work, because I'm currently like working on building the website, my Brewz the Reviews website, and also the Footy Films, but making the shopping page. I don't mind doing more work and having to ship them out and all that, if it means getting the best product from each company has to offer. I really am coming to despise companies like T-Shirt Spring and Printful and these one does it all shops, because they might have a couple products that are decent, but then the rest of the products are absolute garbage. And I'd rather support a local company that does something particular special and just buy it from all these places and put it in my shop and have the best of everything.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Cory's business end from a little bit. Like, is there any projects in the works as far as CRC goes?
Yeah, definitely, man.
Not much. I mean, I got a couple going, but nothing crazy right now. I've kind of been working on other projects. Got other things going on, but nothing, no orders. I was designing a bass the other day. I've actually been kind of talking to Jonas a lot, because he's like the one person that's always like, when you're building a bass, I want a bass. And I'm just like, I'm trying. I drew one that I don't hate. I drew like a full scale model of it, and I don't hate it. I might make it.
The thing with him is he doesn't even want you to ask him what he wants. He just wants you to.
No,
make
I know,
something.
And that kind of drives me a little nuts, because like for whatever reason, I can draw a guitar.
Yeah.
I can draw a bunch of them, and I'm like, oh, I like that. That's cool. I don't make it. Whatever. I've drawn like several basses, and I'm like, I hate this. This is trash. I don't know.
Oh, you should make my guitar design into a bass.
The fact is like when you think about what Cory does, it's like he was the bass player throughout.
I know it doesn't make any sense.
The entire course. of his whole thing.
I know
So
a lot of
he's
people have
very-
said that. It's like
when it comes to his designs, it's like he's very like particular and articulate when it comes to what he wants as a base for himself.
Yeah, that's
kind
true.
of what it is. It's like
Yeah.
everybody asks me like, why haven't you built a bass yet? You're a bass player. I'm like, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
Because it's literally going to take forever.
It's too close. It's maybe too close to home for me. Like I do want something that I like.
Right.
I don't know. It's really, really difficult. Bass designs are different though. Like
it's true. Yeah.
Like I did actually, the one I drew, I'll send you a picture of it later, but the one I drew, I took the template I have for your guitar and I just kind of elongated it and just changed a few curves here and there, because a bass is just inherently bigger than a guitar.
Yeah, right.
So like the body has to be bigger because the scale length is bigger. Like where they put the bridge on the body is so much further towards the back end of it. Like you have to have so much more material there to work with. So like it's a bigger design, and every time I draw something, it ends up being really small, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like every time I draw something, I'm like, it needs to be bigger. Shut up. I know where you're going with that. But like maybe it is 'cause I have a small frame. I'm a smaller person, and like if you're playing a big 3S. ES335 is like, Dustin's guitar that Gibson he has.
Right.
It looks ridiculous on him because he's not exactly a big person either. But
some people just love that though. I hate semi hollows for that reason.
They're just too big, and it makes Dustin look shorter. Sorry, Dustin.
Yeah, makes him look pretty tiny. Honestly,
you're the same height.
He's like an inch shorter than me.
By the way, as a side point, not to detract from what we're talking about, but Cory has agreed to come in on this project, Cal, that we have discussed.
I did? I don't recall doing that.
Wait, what project? Oh, the documentary?
He's agreed to come I asked him personally. I gave him a phone call. I said,
did I put this in writing? Because I don't remember.
I said,
Yeah, I hope you just realized you put your life on the line, sir.
Be on the serious side first.
No. Sorry. Okay. Sorry.
I asked Cory personally because he's the one that started this thing with me from the beginning. I asked him if he would like to come in and do some bass parts and.
Oh, that now I remember that. Okay.
I would like him to be a part of this project that me and Cal have, and if there's any point where him and I are recording and Cory would like to come in on it, it would be an honor for me to have him be a part of the process.
Yeah, slap a little bass.
Slap a bass.
Slapping it.
Okay. Yeah. Oh man. What do you think? Should we wrap this up? It's been like.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, dude, it's like 10 o'clock. It's way past my bedtime.
Cory's 35 years old.
312. But who's counting?
I'm just getting started, man.
Was like 2 hours ago.
I have to be up at like 5, so
Oh, okay. Well,
That's it.
Oh, look at Sam over here. He just doesn't sleep.
I put the boxes on the truck at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I'm the reason that you're in work, pal. If it weren't for me, you would have no wood to work. Let me tell you right now.
Look,
pretty sure that's not how it works. But.
Look, if you decided you didn't want to put the boxes in the truck, they would just get another Momo, another trick-or-treat nonsense guy to put the boxes in the truck.
I have seniority. They replaced me. Oh, by the way, check this out. So a driver, as kind of a side point here, a driver that's been there for 16, 17 years, just got fired for testing positive for traces of THC.
Good times. That's it?
Fired.
That's
Pension
crazy.
Gone. Everything gone.
Too bad he's not in Massachusetts. Well, actually, he'd probably still get fired.
It's more of a company-wide policy.
It's a UPS union thing, but he's completely gone.
So is that like
That's crazy,
there a
man.
no tolerance policy, something like that? Like
I think most.
I think if it's different if you're a driver, but if you're part of like my shift and the overnight shift, they don't test for anything like that, so they're not really looking for who's going to be out on the road, because you're not out on the road. The drivers, on the other hand, who are delivering all these packages and are out on the road, they're a little bit more concerned.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they just get randomly tested, because when I worked with Southwest, that we were in a union.
I forgot that you did that.
Yeah. Oh,
Didn't you like wreck a plane?
Stop
No.
it!
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I got blamed for it, and I just that's not why I quit, but I kind of saw the corruption, and I loved. I don't want to talk bad about Southwest. I just hated my station, and Southwest is a great airline. And I love Southwest. I like when I always get a chance to, I fly with them. Still, but I honestly, I just hated the job, to be honest. It just wasn't for me, because Albany was like a super senior station, and I was like, I talked to the guys that got into it at the same time as me, and they're still working overnights. And the thought of me working overnights,
that's disgusting.
2 nights later, 2 years past when I started, is like the most sickening thought in the world, even if it meant like free trips, which I can't even take trips right now. I mean, I could, but it's like, it's not even worth it. Yeah. But
what do you mean it's not worth it? What are you talking about?
Can't go anywhere. There's nowhere to go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can't go anywhere. Tell you what. Let me tell you something, okay? Went to Florida twice, came back each time, nothing happened.
Look, man. Lucky. And then I filmed one wedding, and I got the COVID.
Right.
Well, that's your problem.
It's always the people that are being careful and like trying their best not to get it that get it, and then people like Sam that fly to Florida, they're fine.
Yeah. But like to end this on a serious note, because I don't want to. We've probably offended 5 million people by now. At
least.
You might not care, but
eventually.
I care about my listeners. You know, the 5 people that listen to this podcast.
The trick or treat savages that have no idea what we're talking about.
But,
by the way, the oldest World War II veteran was 108 years old, and he still smoked cigars and ate ice cream every day of his life.
All right.
What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. But no, seriously. Thank you guys for listening. If you made it this far, it means you actually like care about this podcast, for sure. And on a serious note, anybody that's been affected by this or has loved ones that's been, this virus, nobody really knows anything, and it affects everybody severely different. So there's no disrespect to the people that have either gotten severely sick or died from this virus. Thankfully, I've gotten it, my wife has gotten it, but it's, thankfully we were lucky enough to get mild symptoms and we're out into the world again. But
absolutely. And to go along with what Cal's saying, in all seriousness, I may make jokes, I may say stupid things, but I hope everybody's happy and healthy, and it can be a very, very serious thing. Thankfully, from what I've read today, the cases are going down every day.
Well, they're starting to distribute the vaccine to around here, which is pretty cool.
Well, from what the CDC has said, as far as today goes, like this just popped off today. The CDC has actually announced that, the reason that the cases are dying down is because people are actually developing antibodies to fight this thing.
Unless morphs again into we got a new strain, and
Hey, we all die. Let's think positive.
Corey,
sorry, I can't do that. That's not who I am.
I tried to say something nice, and you had to jump in like a diving board and ruin everything that I'm saying.
That's what I do best. So
yeah,
right.
It's been real. It's been fun, but not real fun.
No, but hope everybody's, honestly, hope everybody's doing well, and
absolutely,
we'll get through this thing. I
hope everybody's okay.
My biggest thing I've been saying is, what are we, 44 days until spring, something like that. I know it makes people happy, all right, because
it seems doable almost.
Yeah, not that the spring is a magical time that everything disappears, but at least it's warmer in spring, and at least it means you can go outside and not freeze your bananas off. So yeah,
you know what, as not to interrupt my friend Mr. Frodo here, but we're to end on a positive note, we're going to get through this, all of us. We really are. And when this is over, we're going to go back to concerts, as Cory spoke about earlier. We're going to go back to real life, and everything's going to be okay.
Absolutely, man. But yeah, on that note, thank you guys. Honestly, this has been equally the most unstructured Brewz Roundtable podcast, but the most fun I've had in a while. But I haven't recorded one of these, and this is the first one I've recorded in 2021. So you guys should feel special.
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't lose the audio this time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh man, but honestly, guys, thank you. It's been a ton of fun, and yeah,
Cal, you're the greatest, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate you having me on. And Cory, I know he's not going to tell you anything because he's but if I could speak for him, he does love you very much, even though he would never say that.
You're right. I'm not going to say that.
Oh man. No.
I have to speak for him because what is wrong with my camera?
There goes his camera again. Oh man. Oh gosh. All right, guys. This has been another Brewz Roundtable podcast, and we will see you next week. As always, peace out.
Peace out.